The Yakuza series is coming up to be 20 years old. Oh my god. With a series that is successful as this, there is one thing that is bound to happen. Merchandising. From t-shirts to jackets, acrylic stands to figurines, even plushies. This series was destined to sell out. Now to go off topic for a bit, the music from this franchise is phenomenal, like now let's just say if you want to get your hands on the soundtracks, I'm not talking about digital, I'm talking about physical. So for the next 25 minutes or hopefully less, we'll be looking at the various soundtracks from the Yakuza series that were lucky enough to receive a physical release, rather it be on CDs or records. That's for me to know and to find out. Then to elaborate to the viewers watching this, and because I feel like a gentleman, I will show the prices of the OSTs when they release, the prices they're at now, and where to potentially find one. In the year of 2007, the first commercial release this series would see would be for the Yakuza 1 and Yakuza 2 soundtrack. Just as it sounds, you could own both the Yakuza 1 and 2 soundtrack on CD, selling for about 4,410 yen, or $37 at the time, but if we account for inflation, then it would cost about $58. Keep in mind, I round these numbers up to the nearest cent. So let's just say you want to buy it now. Well, the listings on eBay ask for, let's just say, a median of $96. But that's just eBay. What about the Japan resale sites? Well, my Japanese is still not good, so I can't tell you, but from what I can gather, there are some sites that sell the CD, but just be mindful if the CD is complete in case and doesn't have any scratches or dirt if you care about mint condition merch. Now, believe it or not, the next year over of 2008, we actually got a CD release, this time for the Japanese exclusive classic Kenzan, making it the first spin-off to receive a physical release. And the crazy thing is, this was released for a whopping 1,890 yen, or $18.85. Now it would have run you up about $28 today. However, since Kenzan was a Japanese exclusive, finding one for a fair price, it's a game of chance, really. That's just eBay, however. Elsewhere, you might get lucky, but just be mindful because some of these sites won't ship out of Japan. Now, before I cover Yakuza 3 and onward, there's an elephant I had to talk about because he won't stop staring at me. Leave me alone. Yakuza 3, 4, 5, and onwards were licensed out to limited run games and were given special collector's editions that include soundtracks to each respective game. These collector's editions haven't been released yet. Even if they were, I'm not going to include them. I want to cover the more rare and obscure releases instead of the reproductions made in current year. Now anyways, on the Yakuza 3. Now, this here is a bit different from the other releases because on the 25th and the 26th of February, there were 2 CD drops, the first being the intro song to the Japanese version of Yakuza 3 titled Loser for a mere 800 yen. The next day, Yakuza 3 soundtrack released for 2,940 yen, rounding out to $8.56 and $31.40, which would be $12.87 and $47.21 today. Charging for inflation anymore. I'll just put it on the screen. So for Loser, I mean, if you account for today's prices, it's not the worst, but at the same time, this was for 8 biggins when it was released. As for the game itself, oh hell nah! Well, let's try some luck overseas, right? But the crazy thing is, it's cheaper to buy Loser overseas. Again, be mindful. As for the game itself, now I tried here. I really did try. I cannot find the Yakuza 3 OST at all on Japanese sites, so the best option is sadly eBay. Now here's an interesting tidbit. Yakuza 4 didn't get a physical release. The soundtrack was released digitally, but that doesn't mean nothing from 4 didn't get a CD. Because in 2010, 2 CDs for Yakuza 4 intro song, Butterfly City, were released. A normal edition for 1,223 yen, and a limited edition for 1,575 yen. That one included a music video, so a DVD. So for the price of $13.92 and $17.93, you could have owned both of these CDs. Now let's see if it's possible to buy it today. I found one copy of the limited edition version on eBay, so it's first come first serve, but let's say you don't want to stress out about a CD on eBay. Well, I found 3. 2 of them are the standard editions, and one of them is a limited edition. I cannot stress this enough, be mindful. I also checked the Japanese auction sites, and if you're familiar with how it goes, go crazy, just give it a shot. If you're not, just stand back. The next one is my favorite spin-off from the series, but there isn't a lot to talk about, so I'll keep it brief. Sometime around September and October of the same year, Kurohyou got an official soundtrack release, but not the same caliber. First, it was released digitally. However, there's a second version which was released. It was a promotional CD that was given out as a gift if you bought all 3 volumes of the Kurohyou show. And as I'm typing this, there is no way to buy that CD. Rather be on eBay or elsewhere, and for my research, it doesn't technically exist. Another thing about the promotional CD, apparently, it contained the soundtrack to the Kurohyou show. However, when I checked the track list on the site, it doesn't really say, so we don't really know. I guess you could say this is lost media. Never again. Now let's move ahead 1 year to 2011. Now even though Yakuza Dead Souls doesn't technically have a CD release, it sort of does. Let me explain. First off, in the month of June, there was a CD release for the best songs from the karaoke minigame, and the song from Dead Souls just happened to be one of them. And it could have been yours for the mere price of 7,980 yen or $98.87. The subtle irony is that even though it was expensive upon release, the price drop now is unfathomable. You can pick it up on eBay for like around $37. Now that's a steal. Even though it's karaoke songs, it's still a great piece for a collection. And even though it's cheap on eBay, if you want to take to Japan, I don't really blame you, because it's cheaper there. It's like no one wanted this or something. Well, if you want it, go get it. We're not done yet, because there was another. On the 30th of June, there was a CD collection containing some of the best songs from Yakuza 1 up to Dead Souls. And yes, Kenzan is there too. This gem could have been yours for only 4,410 yen or $55. Now, seeing as the karaoke became cheaper as time moved on, I reckon it did the exact same for... Oh, hell no! Brother, why is this so damn expensive? Who's dropping upwards of $200 on a CD that doesn't even have all the game's music? Me. The Japan resites offer better prices, but at the same time, it's still a bit steep. Now we have another banger of a release for Kurohyou. This time for the sequel. There's a lot here, so let's try to rapid fire this. In 2012, during the months of March, May, and June, Kurohyou 2 received several physical releases. The first thing released was a DVD for Majima no Maji Rock. It was available to purchase for 6,729 yen or $79. Then, on May 2nd, Kurohyou got its own separate release of the game's soundtrack, but it was different. It was special even, because this is the first RGG game to receive a vinyl pressing. Technically the first Yakuza game, but since it's a spin-off, I won't count it. You could have bought this for a whole 2,500 yen. Now on the 6th of June, there was a release of the game's theme song from the band Shonen no Kaze. On this CD, you could get 6 songs. 3 of them were the instrumental version, and the rest you could get the point. So yeah, all that for a price of 1,260 yen, or about $16. Well, where are they now? Majima no Maji Rock can still be bought, and it's way cheaper than before. Even so much so, if you want to shop Japan, it's cheaper over there. Now let me just say this and flex, because I am a proud owner of the Kurohyou 2 soundtrack on vinyl. But if you want to enjoy Peak in a high fidelity format, don't use eBay. Instead, head over to a site called Discogs. They specialize in all your record needs. And even though some of the prices there are a bit much, it's still worth a look. But there's always Japan, and the prices there, they're a bit better. And as for the CD, to my surprise, eBay doesn't have it. But you know what site does? Discogs, and for a cheaper price. But there's always cheaper. Jeez, that was a lot, but we still have more games to talk about. Oh my god. During the same year, around December or so, Yakuza 5 received a CD release of select songs. No soundtrack release, just some karaoke and idle songs. Now, there's no retail price, as this was released as a pre-order bonus included with Yakuza 5. Nowadays, you can find it for a reasonable price on eBay, and cheaper if you're shopping overseas. Now we're in the 8th generation of consoles. We still have more games. Yakuza Inshin was released to the world sometime around 2014. And for a pre-order bonus, you were giving another RGG Series Best Compilation CD, all for the price of 8,600 yen, or $81. Fortunately, the prices have gone down, so you can definitely buy it. I mean, you're getting songs from Yakuza 1 through Inshin. There's no Dead Souls or Kenzan, so it's worthless to me, and it's cheaper in Japan. Now we finally reached the one, the only Yakuza 0 from 2015, and unfortunately for me, this game has a lot of physical releases, so before I crash out, let me summarize all of these quickly. The month of March, Yakuza 0 received 4 different CD releases. 2 for the Japanese version of the theme song Bubble. It was a standard and limited edition, with the limited edition being 1,944 yen upon release, and standard edition being 1,296 yen. So $16 for limited and $11 for standard. Alongside that, we got Yakuza 0's 80s Hit Collection, which is a compilation CD of licensed songs for Yakuza 0. Like with Bubble, there was a standard and limited edition release. Standard was going for 2,160 yen, and limited edition going for 2,376 yen. So $18 and $20 respectively. I just admit to everyone that math was ever my strongest subject, and the fact I had to do some math here makes me want to. One copy of Bubble limited edition can be found on eBay. Elsewhere it's definitely cheaper. Yakuza 0, however, is on eBay, but the money they're asking for is, well, to summarize, you're gonna have to have at least $58 if you want to buy from there. On the Japanese sites, they're about the same price when released, so I guess check there. Now yes, I am aware there is a vinyl release, but I'm going in order of release, so I'll get to that when I get to Lost Judgment or so, just remind me. Anyway, Kiwami. One year later after Yakuza 0, we got Yakuza Kiwami, and with it we got 2 music releases. Not the game's soundtrack, but something else, you'll see. To start off the month of January, we got a limited edition CD by Hain titled I Can't Read That. This here contains 4 original songs with a DVD and Blu-ray version with 2 music videos, one of which being Receive You Reborn. This was available for 3,200 yen, $27 pretty much. On eBay, you can be spending upwards of $59 for the CD, but elsewhere, it's a bit more fairly priced. It can be found for cheap, so just keep doing some digging. But this wouldn't be the only thing that released, because during the month of December, Sega dropped something unexpected on our heads. But we'll get to that after, so right now, let's discuss Yakuza 6. So within the same year of Kiwami, we were also given Yakuza 6, and Yakuza 6 was given something else. Instead of a soundtrack release, we were given a Kiryu Kazuma karaoke compilation CD containing all the karaoke songs that Kiryu has ever sung. All these classic hits for the price of 2,750 yen, or $24. eBay is asking for extra cash for the CD. Well, it depends, because I found some that are fairly priced, but others were, well, yeah. But don't count Yakuza 6 out just yet, because the game has its own official soundtrack release for 3,996 yen, about $36. And as expected from eBay, the markup is up 250%. I hope I did the math right. But regardless, it's pretty expensive there. Japan is also somewhat expensive, but given inflation and the current economy, maybe it's justified, but I wouldn't go for it. Finally, Kiwami 2. On December of the year of 2017, Kiwami 2 got 2 physical releases, technically 3, let me explain. First up, we have a dual soundtrack collection of Kiwami 1 and 2. It doesn't contain the full score from both of the games, only selected tracks. The rest of the CD is just recorded lines from Kiryu and Majima. Who really asked for this? And this wasn't cheap either. This was over 15,398 yen on release, which is about $136. All that for a CD with half of the game's score, and the rest is just voice lines. Thankfully, eBay sellers have some sense, because the prices there dropped by $65-ish or less. Not only is it extremely cheaper on Japan sites, but there's people who are selling the limited edition bundle the CD came in. I think that's the better option purchase than the CD, obviously. But you want to know what's better than any of that? How about another compilation karaoke CD, but this time with Majima, the exact same price as Kiryu's, which would be still $24. The Majima karaoke CD could be yours. Well, what about now? Well, I didn't check sites like Amazon, but you can buy it on Amazon. eBay, about $55. In Japan, I found a couple that were cheap. The rest, not so much. we have now reached Judgment, and it has 3 different CD releases, and one of them has 4 different editions. Help me God. Okay, so on November of 2018, the album Sleepless in Brooklyn by the band Albatross released with 1 standard edition, 3 limited editions. Why is this important in Judgment? Because the song Arpeggio was used for Judgment's title opening, so there, it counts. I guess I can cover them to be fair. I won't be telling you where to buy them. Brother, I'm tired, okay? So check your local international music store. They probably have some somewhere. Okay, so in order, the standard edition was for 3,240 yen. The first limited edition variant, which came with a DVD, went for 9,504 yen. And the second was labeled limited edition A, which came with a Blu-ray that cost 7,344 yen. And the final one, labeled limited edition B, which came with a normal DVD, was 6,264 yen. The first limited edition version contained demo tapes and live recordings, so that's why it's more expensive. Anyway, the following month, Judgment received its own CD release of the soundtrack, 3 CDs for a total price of 3,996 yen, about $36. Now, I found one on eBay for, heck! Okay, so my fault. You can find other CDs for about a few extra dollars, so not that good of a deal. On the Eastern front, you can find some for cheap or with a slight markup, but the quantity isn't surplus, so another first come first served situation. Finally, the first Like a Dragon game. We're now at the beginning. Yakuza 7. Okay, so Yakuza 7's soundtrack didn't get sorted out until 2 years after the game's release, so no soundtrack will be discussed. However, we did get the soundtrack released on vinyl, but that wasn't until 2023, so not important now. Later though. So what did we get in this year of 2020? Well, we got the release of the Japanese theme from Yakuza 7 from Shonen no Kaze again. They both released around May or so, with the CD going for 3,300 yen and the limited edition CD with DVD going for 5,940 yen, so about $30 and $55. I found one on eBay for 56 biggins. This is the CD and the DVD bundle, mind you. But you can take the Discogs where it's cheaper, and the Japanese sites have listings that are marginally cheaper for both the CD and DVD. So if you want to, just shop there. Now, before we move on to Lost Judgment, I have to fulfill my promise, because the year of 2021, Yakuza 0 came back with a vengeance, because we finally got a physical soundtrack release. Not only that, but it's vinyl, so we eating good. Making this the first Yakuza game to receive a record OST release with 3 editions to boot. 1 record with 6 discs that contained the entire OST, 1 colored but it's only 2, and finally 1 limited edition that was colored and contained the full OST. And thank the stars, because I don't have to convert this from yen to USD. I can go off the in-store prices, because yes, the site that houses these records still have them in stock, I hope. So during the launch around March, the non-colored complete OST was available for $134. The dual colored variant was up for $44, and the limited edition was again up for $134. Now for the bad news, well, somewhat good news as well, because you can still buy the black variant of the complete OST on the site. I will link it below. But as for the others, sold out. Not to worry, y'all, Discog comes in clutch, because not only can you get the colored dual disc variant, but you can get the limited edition full OST variant over there. Anyway, Lost Judgment hit the scene and got not only a soundtrack release, but a theme song release. But the single was digital, so let's concern ourselves with the OST. Releasing around September, this could be bought for 4,620 yen, or for $2. eBay, I found 2, one fairly priced, one upped by double, and the Japan shops ain't offering anything cheaper. Not to mention the listings are scarce, so get your copy while supplies last. Now let's make a full 2-year jump with Like a Dragon Gaiden. I don't like this game, but regardless of my feelings with the game, let's talk about the OST release. However, before we talk about that, Yakuza 7 just hit the vinyl scene. Just like Yakuza 0, Like a Dragon was lucky enough to get a vinyl pressing with 3 different versions like before. 2 colored records containing half the game's score, a 5-disc black variant that contained the full OST, and another 5-disc box set, this time in different colors. This is the limited edition version, by the way. So altogether, that would have been $42 for the standard and $116 for the full soundtrack. And I got some amazing news, because the site still have these records in stock. Only the full collection though, not the dual disc variant, but you can check out Discogs, yeah, they have them over there. Anyway, back to Gaiden. So Like a Dragon got a release around December, and we got a CD release of the game's score for about 3,500 yen or $24. eBay surprisingly has many listings for Gaiden, so head over there with at least $42 to spare. You should be good. Not to mention, it's cheaper on Japan sites, so there you go. New year, new Yakuza. I'm sorry, I meant to say Like a Dragon, with Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, or Yakuza 8. So we got a soundtrack release, the complete soundtrack, with 6 separate CDs, all for 7,700 yen, or $51. Now on eBay, I can spot some listings that are about the same price, some that are higher than others, but hey, what do you want? Now with that being said, they are cheaper overseas, well, just about cheap. Now before we move on to the last game, there's one more music related Yakuza release I want to talk about because I didn't realize it existed until making this video, but sometime around 2024 there was another compilation release, this time on vinyl. It was a vinyl release of a Baka Mitai collection. Yeah, they just released this to the public for some reason, all for 3,300 yen, about $21. This is the perfect gift for Redditors, so much so it's not even on eBay. Discogs has one for the same price, not only there but on the Japan sites too, so if you want to go the extra mile for a bit, you better have cash on you. Of course. Even at the home stretch, there's still some tomfoolery. Okay, so in the big 2025 Like a Dragon Pirates in Hawaii released. I haven't played the game, nor do I want to. Besides the point, it received 2 soundtrack releases, the Captain Majima Musical Collection and the official soundtrack. The Majima EP released for about 1,500 yen, and the official soundtrack released for 4,800 yen. So it would be about $10 for the EP, $33 for the full soundtrack. The EP can be bought now for $27, and the soundtrack can be about $65 on eBay. And it's cheaper on the Japanese sites, and I'm just leaving it at that. It's over, I'm free, that's everything. So what did we learn? That this series is coming up to be 20 years old, and that RGG had to sell out, especially with physical music. So far, from what I can gather, they like to do more compilation releases than standalone. I mean, it made sense for Yakuza 1 and 2, but man, Yakuza 4 and 5 never got an official standalone release. And the crazy thing is, their one spin-off, Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise, that never got a soundtrack release at all. But other than that, it was a pretty interesting dive. If there's one thing to take away from this, is that we need to find the Kurohyou 1 promotional CD. So I want people to spam this hashtag. I know it exists, and I want someone to find it. And when someone does find it, I want that person to send it to me for free.